All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching me from. Welcome to Module 1 of this course, Educational Technology Leadership. And in this model, I shall be talking about the current thinking on tech leadership in education. By the way, my name is Raymond Kaburi, and in the next few minutes, we shall be diving deep into this current thinking on tech leadership in education. All right, so the content of this particular video is the first thing that we shall be looking at is an overview of technology leadership in education. And the second thing that we shall be looking at is how important it is this in terms of my alignment with the co-sign frameworks. And thirdly, I will be focusing on science education in Ghana. That is will be my context of this particular framework. And finally, talking about my reflections and my recommendations with regards to this particular framework in technology leadership. So, by way of introduction into technology leadership, we say that technology leadership is the involvement of guiding digital transformation for improved teaching and learning outcomes. So, the process of involving or guiding digital transformation for improved teaching and learning outcomes is what is termed as technology leadership. And the essential skills that are required or needed for this particular, the implementation of this technology leadership to be able to function well, to be very effective, is that we must have a vision and it must be collaborative or there should be collaboration. And there should also be process management in terms of how we're able to manage whatever goes into this particular technology leadership. And also, there should be a continuous improvement, which may include professional development, continuous professional development for whosoever. And this it was stated by Mouza and Lavigne in 2013 uh, as essential skills that are needed for the successful implementation of technology leadership. And like I said earlier on, I will be contextualizing this in the context of Ghana and to be specific in science education in Ghana. And I will say that to have direct, it helps uh, teachers or people in the science education fraternity in Ghana to have direct access to technology leaders or people that are leaders that are in the technological field. It also gives people strong relationship between digital learning and teaching staff, which enhance classroom science instruction in the classroom. And this was formulated by the course in 2014. It was stated clearly that uh, technology leadership gives strong relationships, and in this particular scenario, helps teaching staff to enhance their classroom teaching. Definitely, we know that teaching and learning is very important. The relationships are very important when it comes to teaching and learning, and which science instruction is not an exception. So, if we're able to do that, it will definitely enhance the instruction, and teaching and learning will be quite effective. Now, so I have said clearly that I am aligning myself with the cosine framework, and the cosine framework has standards, and that is the 1E, which is talking about the efficiency. Can talk about the 2G, which is the cross-departmental collaboration, the 4C or the 4D, which talks about distributed leadership, and the 5D that talks about continuous improvement, which we talked about, we mentioned earlier on, and how these standards guides science teaching in Ghana science school, Ghanaian high schools is that I've made mention of a few of them in our previous slide. That it gives us effective integration of technology into our classrooms or into the curriculum, and also into our assessments, into in our instruction to support best practices. It also helps us to do this professional development for teachers so that they get acquainted or better abreast with new diverse ways of student learning as well as teaching methodologies and help them to also adapt to the changing educational environments before or years before there was technology, but it's not so advanced like we have today. We are in the era of AI and so on and so forth. Now, what does moving further as to the the importance or what this co-science framework in technological leadership brings to bear in terms of science education in Ghana. I will say that it helps to build the teacher capacity because if they are undergoing professional development, if there's collaboration and there's effective teaching, definitely the teaching capacity of science teachers in the context of Ghana is going to be deep and it's going to be broad, and we're going to have good teachers. It's also gives and highlighting Miss Eternal Batch systems in terms of their professional development. It also gives some kind of incentivization of teacher upscaling in science technology. This was stated by Darling and Harmon in their research in 2020, talking about the fact that uh, this kind of technology leadership, when we get abreast with this co-science framework, for example, gives a kind of an upscaling in the science technology industry, which is very good for the future. It also helps to in the kind of fostering support for our teachers who are in the field because they are going to be leaders in a technological field, and these leaders will help to integrate people who or teachers who have little or less knowledge in the technological field. And at the end, it gives us good instruction or good teaching and learning. It also grants the importance of science educators in Ghana to have some kind of mentorship, and because of this regular class campus visit, it helps them to monitor and supervise whatever is going, and the new ones learn from the old ones, and the old ones learn from the new ones. And there's some kind of guidance or leadership in terms of these mentorship programs in our campuses to help build the capacity or the professionality of our science teachers. It also helps to do overcoming developmental silos. Like mentioned before, if there are relationship gaps, we talked about the fact that this co-sign framework is the standard 2G helps to bridge collaboration or relationship between them. And by way of recommendation, they also have joint planning of science initiatives in Ghana. So once there's collaboration because of through this framework, through professional development and good organization and management, they are able to do things together, plan together, share ideas to build a consensus on everything. It drives cultural change. Yeah. So once we want to focus on the standard, that is the 1A, the 1H, organizational changes is a major challenge. So people don't want always want to resist change, and I think that if we want to have a better system in terms of anything, in terms of education, then they should be they should be changes. People should be ready to be dynamic, and science leadership in Ghana is building or buy in sustainable transformation, according to what Fulan said in 2022, building or buying a sustainable transformation. So with the co-sign framework, there's always change, there's always transformation, not for the good, but not for the bad, but for the good. And I think that is so good. Efficiency and progress of management. I've talked about the fact that the co-sign framework has a component of process management. So it helps teachers and leadership, teacher education leaders to have this kind of adaptation frameworks and lean to segments of education, continuous improvement, and data-driven practices in science teaching and learning. That was also stated by George Ita in 2004. So to before we run up, I would like to talk about the reflections and my recommendations. And the first and foremost thing is that I have reflected on and I'm recommending is that there is distributed leadership. Everybody is contributing. There's collaboration, which is a good thing for science teaching and learning in the context of Ghanaians and I think globally as a whole. The second recommendation I would like to also mention is that it brings strong professional development systems with efficiency focus. So there is continuous professional development being organized because of this collaboration, because of identification and adaptations to dynamics in terms of technology. And that one too, will really help a lot. Areas of growth, deeper interdisciplinary collaboration. We have mentioned that wider cultural chain adaptations of process management frameworks, just like it was stated in the CoSign 2024 framework. These are my references that I use for this quick presentation. I hope that it helps you to understand our thinking in terms of technological leadership in this first model. And I hope that you were able to understand whatever I said. If you have any question, you can let us have a discussion in the forum. And see you again in our second model. Cheers.